Hello guys, today we're just about to be 2,000 subscribers. We're currently 1,980 and I wanted to treat this video as a kind of a special 2K subscribers. There are some questions, quite a few questions that I think they're interesting, and I'll try to solve it in this video. Throughout the whole year and a half almost that this channel has been running, there's been people and questions and things that I didn't address on other videos because I just couldn't, or yeah. So, so this is the video that will do that. So first question, let's see. By the way, many of you have been here since the beginning. I could say names: PRCR, Unfair, Jeffrey, Jeffrey, you were probably the first one that started supporting the channel. Also the Gig is up. I don't know, many of you. Yeah, many thanks to all of you. It wouldn't be possible, of course, without you. So the question is, I wonder how you managed your songs, projects, and on the EP 133. Do you fill up the memory of the machine before resetting and starting all over? I'm backing up again and again all the time, because I don't know when I'm going to change the samples. So I just back up and then back up again and make another song and back it up. So I don't have to worry, but that's a total mess, like the total mess, you see. So I have a folder that is called EP133, OP1 and PO32 backups. These are all the backups that I have. To be honest, there are not too many, but I'm backing up every time I have to, right? Since backup files came in all the way till the 17th of March of last year. Is that correct? Yeah, probably correct. By the way, that's a fan that I should turn on, but I can't turn on because it will be so windy in here, so you won't hear me. So do you fill up the memory of the machine before resetting? No, I don't. I really leave some space just in case I want to record something from my own voice or just the guitar or something. I just leave a space so that I don't have to delete samples or anything. Project-wise, I do the same. Like maybe I do this 3 and then I back up, and then I do this 2, back up again, do more, back up, yeah. And then I delete this one or delete this 3, back up, because samples, they change, right? When you're doing these projects, these samples have changed and the songs will not be the same as they were. So yeah, I just have to delete them, and that's what I am doing currently. As I said, total mess. Sample management wise, well, so one thing is sample management outside of the EP versus sample management inside the EP 133, right? So outside of the machine, I use Ableton. I just have all the sample libraries here. There are tons of sample libraries here, and I usually download one more every time I want to change the samples of the EP. But they are all free. Believe it or not, they are all free. So I use this folder system on Ableton so that I can quickly just go for a kick and find it, right? So those are kicks, yeah. But like from the computer to the machine, I just use this. Like, this is a game changer actually. It's called EXO from Excellent Audio. All you need in order to get all this stuff inside something that looks like a cloud, very powerful cloud that you just click and know where the kicks are, the snares are, the hi-hats are. And this is the weird stuff. But I use this because sometimes I don't know what is in here. Like, there's so many. I don't know where is in here, so I just go here and just click randomly and discover new sounds from here, right? That's what I do with it. Sometimes you just don't know that you want a kick sample from a hip hop stuff. But if you have this, you'll probably hear it somehow. So yeah, very powerful stuff. And then inside the EP, if you've seen my sample packs, you know how I do it. It's more or less the same. I try to keep it organized there because If not, that's a real mess actually, because that is a real time saver, and I try to save my time as much as possible in that regard. So let's see, more things. How do you keep track of it all and keep things organized? I think I already explained that. I just keep track of everything with everything I said. Well, the EP sample tool is the tool that I use, of course, the most, but also Ableton and also EXO. And how do I back up my finished files? I'll show you. So I connect this to here. Sorry for the mess, but I connect that to there. I go to the EP sample tool. It should recognize the thing. Most of the times it doesn't. But yeah, when it recognizes it, there's a button here labeled like backups and restore. Yeah, backup and restore, that's it. And then you click there, and I think that's the first one, the one that says backup. I do that, it then loads automatically, and I just put that into the files that I showed you earlier. So Unfair, he's saying, do you put any extra processing in live after recording? Or do you leave the signal straight up as recorded? Actually, so I used to not do anything to that signal before when I started making videos. But then people started asking if I was on Spotify. And because I had the DistroKid subscription, I already paid it before the channel was launched, actually. I just thought, why not making the master version and putting that on the songs so that there's consistency, right? So I started doing that on my songs. There wasn't too much of a difference because straight from the machine already it sounds just good. And I just like how it sounds. Also, when I do live recordings and everything, I just don't treat the signal at all because I can't. It's too much work for me, and it's not going to be on Spotify, right? So that's the reason. He also mentions, I've always wondered about other technicalities, like how do you decide how much of the on-device compressors to use if you do mastering through live, the basics of the mastering channel. And that's what I want to check out with you. So here's the mastering channel. I'll explain it quickly. So if you don't know Ableton, this is the routing signal. This is going through this and then through this, and this is going just through this group. Okay. So I start on with the Pro Q. This is the last one that I did. It's not too it's not too crazy or anything, but I just put this because I wanted to accentuate maybe some of the frequency there, and I always put that low shelf there. And then you just use as actuator here placed on this channel strip, but sometimes I don't use it at all. So in this case it's neutral and it's about 0.5, okay? Just in case. This is a free plugin, by the way. It's a great plugin. I never use more than 0.5. Then it's gone through another EQ for some reason. Don't ask me why, but this time I just lowered the lower frequencies and put a Bailey EQ on that middle. And then this is what? Okay. Well, I boosted that. Probably all the probably all the things are boosted. I didn't do too much subtraction on here, but yeah, that's another one. I don't know why I put 3 of them. Did I miss something? No. This is the Pro C. I usually just leave it at default because I like how it sounds and it's just affecting the signal briefly. In this case, the last song that I did, which is the jump up song, I used it in order to bring some of the parts that were buried behind the reverb. And then Ambassador, this is just on this channel strip because I think I used it in one song. This plugin is insane. It's actually insane. But I don't use it because this is too much for the signal. Like this could sound like something that is not from there. So I don't like it. Sometimes it's just good because you need that bass frequencies. This just boosts the basses and the subs. And yeah, sometimes it's good, but I don't like it because it could sound like something that I didn't do, and I don't like that. Other than that, that's ozone. I use ozone. I just go I'm not gonna lie. So all the time that I use this is to use the AI inside this. So I just go and relearn, and it just makes a channel strip. It does a mastering through AI, and I just leave it at that. But I try not to use most of the things. Like I just use the limiter here. And lastly, I put a teeny tiny bit of Valhalla reverb, vintage reverb. It just sounds so good that I just use it on all of my masterings now. And lastly, this is not a plugin that affects anything. I try to master for Spotify, but most of my latest songs are just mastered as the loudest it can go. And probably that's not a good idea, but I found that maybe it works for YouTube, not sure. But I try to keep the song as close to the original, like the original file, but just master it. That's why I don't use the compressor too much. I just love the compressor on the EP, so there's no reason to use another one. So let's go to the next question, which is, do you upload your songs in another streaming platform? There's been 2 years now that I've paid the subscription to DistroKid, and I've not used it at all. And I don't know why, because I've been mastering the songs and everything. Well, kind of mastering, you know, trying to be the quickest at mastering as possible. But I know why I haven't done that, and it's because I've tried to make a artwork. I'm a graphic designer, well, kind of now. Yeah, like I've done some artworks for this, simple stuff, other stuff with pictures. Don't really like them. I don't know if you can change the artwork later on Spotify, but that would be a thing that I should know, because I think I'm not going to be happy with the artwork that I do. So the last question from Unfair is, have you considered trying an experimental ambient scenario with the KO2? And I kind of did with one song, which is Louv's book. It's called, I'll put it here or here, I don't know. I put it here, right? But that was with the Soft Pop 2, which is one of my favorite synths of all time. Weird synth, very unusual, but that's why I love it. And I tried to do experimental things. Yeah, I think like all of my soft pop stuff is kind of experimental because it has a weird sound. Like it's very tonal, it's very melodic, but it's weird in some way. So I don't know if you consider that experimental, but I really want to make things with the EP133, experimental stuff just with this machine. So yeah, I will do that for you one day, probably soon. And yeah, I have more questions, but this is too hot in here. Too hot, man. So I will snap my fingers and it's just going to be another day. Well, this is another day. I'm not sure you're going to hear me well because I have a fan there. But yeah, let's continue with these questions. So One Shot MK asks, could you make a video walking through the process of you choosing a good sample for the KO2? Okay, so here it just comes down to the tools that I use, which are Ableton and EXO, and it just comes down to what EXO is just showing me, right? And sometimes just I put kick on the finder and just find some samples. But the more interesting question he asks is what do you look for when choosing the sample, and what resources you use for that? Okay, so when it comes to the sample, I just look for things like, for example, here, let's see, if I say I want free, so if I say I want free jump up samples, I go there and I just go find some, like Reddit. On Reddit, there's so many things that you can find, and of course you already know probably. And I usually put the samples that I think could work on a song, or just some samples that are interesting in some sort of way. So I hope you kind of had the idea of what I do. I've done this process many times now, So I think that's what I just do and what works for me, at least. I'm not sure if it's going to work for you, but probably does. So in this case, Andy is asking, what are your essential setup steps for each track you make? Or do you have a template that you apply to all of the projects before getting started? And my essential steps are basically just looking for new sounds, and most of the time I just go for the ones that I already have. So you'll find many of my songs with the same samples but in different uses. Many samples, they can just work together with other samples. Even kicks, snares, they all sort of work in a way that you are not expecting if you do some other genre that is not the same as the sample pack, for example. But I find that really interesting and useful and very challenging. And I think that's part of the reason why some songs comes as they are. To the question, if I apply or have any templates on all my projects, I don't. I usually try to start with a drop or an interesting part for the song so that I then make the intro of it with the same kind of elements and more or less. Yeah, it depends. And then I just build that from there. So I think that's the trick. So next one, Space Squirrel is asking, how long have you been making music and how's your approach evolved over the years? So I've been making music, electronic music, since I was 17. I'm now 30. No, I'm 29. So more than a decade. I started playing the guitar and bass and drums when I was 14 or 15. But then I started producing some other things. I wasn't really onto EDM. I just listened to UKF dubstep a lot, and I loved that. The energy was really comparable to other rock tracks and metal tracks. You know, that emphasis on the high end and the bass was what I found very, very interesting in EDM, and so I started making music. Throughout all the years, I found that it was very difficult for me to come up with a good sound or like my sound. I think I found it, but we have to differentiate between producing music in the computer and doing it on the EP, because I'm not doing the same thing on the EP as I do on the computer. On the computer, I look for some sound design, and it's kind of much more difficult to produce the sound and make it sound the way you want. Well, it's much easier to do it on the EP. For me, as much as I like doing sound design, I just find like the EP is just much easier because of that, because I don't have to deal with all the design process of the sounds, which I like, but it's just, you know, it's just too much sometimes. Just too much time working on that. So yeah, so for me, what has evolved over the years is the sound that I produce and like to produce and know that I sound like that. That's what I found that I actually evolved on me. Yeah. And the last question is from Neko Engine X. If I consider doing collabs, and I actually did. And well, I think he's a friend. He's another YouTuber, and we talked to each other to do some things, but we're just too busy. I think he's even busier than me, and I just find time to do these videos, but they take a long time for me. So we've talked to each other. His name online is The Gig Is Up, and he is a great guy. But we have something that we still have to develop. I recorded the intro and everything for that video, but it never came to fruition. We talked to each other to make a flip the sample, like I do a sample and I give it to him, he makes a song with it, and he does the same with me, so I make a song with his sample. So yeah, so that's a collab that I'm interested in doing. Not any other collabs that I've done yet, but maybe in the future we'll have any others. So this one's really cool actually. I should put it in the beginning. So Neko Engine X asks, I'm sorry if I butchered the name, because it's NEC 0 Engine X. I think it's NECO Engine X. Well, I think it would be cool to have a section where people can send you samples and you use them. And that's really interesting, and I like that. I'm going to put this on the beginning of the video because if not, no one will see that. So do you want that? I would love you to send me samples and I make music with them also. So yeah, he also asks about chill and chat live music making sessions, and we could do that. In fact, I have a thing that goes from the camera to the computer so that I could do lives. I've been thinking about that, and I have OBS. It's for me to do live streams, but I have not been able to do that. It's just time. I'm working a lot, working on myself, or working for myself, I should say, because I'm now a freelance, which I wasn't when I started making music on the channel. So I've been freelance for almost a year, but it's just too difficult for me to manage time, the free time, and I can't make music when I want. And there's another thing that is not really an issue, it's just another thing on top of that, which is many of you have different time zones, so I don't know when to make the lives. I'm in Spain, so if you're from Europe you could be okay, but if you're not, probably it's going to be in the morning when I do that, and you probably work in the morning, so very different time zones. So I think it could be interesting, I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully someday when I can earn money from this, we could do that. So NECO Engine X also asked about personal things like first album. And I asked him, first album of what? Of mine or first album from my favorite first album? And I don't have a album that I released officially, just on SoundCloud. So my favorite album of all time would be The Dark Side of the Moon from Pink Floyd. And why is that? It's because it was just amazing to hear that. When I was a child, my parents used to put Pink Floyd and many of their albums. They have here the cover of the album, Wish You Were Here. My favorite album of all time would be The Dark Side of the Moon, just because, you know, that album is just great and everything about it is great. And when I experienced that with my best friend, we discovered new music and new things with Pink Floyd, and I loved those moments. They were just beautiful, you know. My friend, my best friend, he passed away 5 years ago, and it's been hard, you know. Since then I haven't been able to hear the album. I'm very sensitive to these things, but he was 24 years old when this happened, and I wished he was here. I have another tattoo here with the pig. I'm just a very, very fan of Pink Floyd. So definitely these are my favorite albums of all time. And my album, so I want to show you a thing. Can I play you 4 songs or 5 songs mixed together? I never released them, and I wanted to share that with you because those songs are from 2018. I'll play them for you quickly. Let me know what you think about them, please, in the comments. I also have 2 other songs that I want to play you because I think they were good enough, in my opinion, back in the day. and they are all in a hard drive that is on a computer. I can't access the computer anymore. Something is just not working on there. I should put that on my priorities, right? And I also have some other songs from my best friend and I, which, yeah, we used to play together. We had a band. It was called Pathetic City. He used to sing, and I used to play and sing with him. Hopefully someday they come out from there. Job, be interesting, he says. So for the job, I studied graphic design. I'm a graphic designer, but most of the things that I do now, they are not graphic design. So what I'm doing now is just videos for other brands to use them in their profiles and their, their social media. So they pay me to do that. I just started almost a year ago, and yeah, it's what I do now. But I have plenty of editing, and I have to make the scripts and to act also. And so it's much more work than you could think it is. It just takes some time. All the videos takes a lot of time, actually. The length of the videos could be from 30 seconds to maybe a minute and a half or 2 minutes. You don't know how much time a 30-second video could actually take to do. So that's what I do now. And I really, really love making that. I hope I never run out of that income, because I like doing that. And I haven't been able to say that from any other work that I've been in. So family, I don't know what you want me to say about that, but I have a brother, and yeah, my parents, and I have a girlfriend. I'm living with my girlfriend, and that's my family, what I consider my family. Favorite food, I think Indian food. Yeah, and some Spanish dishes like lentejas. You know, lentejas. I really like them. If you don't know, just search for it. It doesn't look really good, but it tastes really good. Last one is, what brand of pillow do you use? And it's called Pickling. Yeah, that's it, right? This is the end of the video. Thanks for watching until the end. I don't know if you made it till the end of this video, but if you did, just comment KO2 sucks. KO2 sucks, and I'll know you did. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the 2K subscribers. Today we're now 2K subscribers. I think 2007, being exactly. And yeah, thanks to each and every one of you. See you in the next one.